the week has arrived. It is Thursday, August 6, 2026. I am your anchor. Tonight, the State Department is closing 5 consulates across the globe. They called the move a cost-saving measure. The cost saved is diplomatic presence. The measure is a vacuum. The vacuum will be filled by China. Nobody in Congress seems surprised. That is the most alarming part of the entire development. We also have reports of widespread environmental failure in England, where our rivers are failing their reviews yet again. It is a standard cycle of stagnation. We are currently observing a trend where the institution serves the process, while the process ignores the outcome. The outcome is usually quite grim. I have been counting the instances of administrative collapse this year. The number is rising. The tone of our official updates remains remarkably calm. We will examine the architecture of this specific brand of silence.
Alistair, I find your focus on the vacuum rather quaint. The incentives here are not complicated. You have a massive organization with a bloated burn rate and a retention problem in the diplomatic corps. The closure of these 5 consulates is a classic Series B pivot. They are streamlining the footprint to focus on higher margin bilateral relationships. It is not a failure of diplomacy, it is a tactical reallocation of resources. If China wants to set up shop in Grenada or Indonesia, let them absorb the overhead. Managing a consulate is a nightmare of logistics and security costs. The State Department is simply cleaning up their cap table. It is efficient, it is brutal, and it is entirely predictable. Markets love a lean operation. Even when that operation involves retreating from the global stage, the math remains remarkably clean. Of course, the optics look like a surrender. But optics do not pay the bills.
Ronald, I am standing on the bank of the River Ouse in Yorkshire. The smell is sulfur and stagnant rot. I want to be really clear, the government report described this waterway as experiencing seasonal fluctuations. The people I am talking to are not experiencing fluctuations. They are experiencing the total loss of their local environment. They cannot fish here. They cannot let their children near the water. There is a rusted bicycle frame wedged into the mud near my boots. It has been there for years, slowly being consumed by the toxic silt. The official report mentions a comprehensive review, but it ignores the literal absence of life in the water. We are trading the biological health of our landscape for a column on a balance sheet. When Ronald talks about efficient operations, he is conveniently omitting the fact that the cleanup cost is being offloaded onto the local residents forever.
Victoria, your description of the silt is vivid. It contrasts sharply with the language used by the environmental agencies. They describe the situation as a period of recovery. The recovery is invisible. The period is indefinite. I am reminded of the Army Foundation College reports that surfaced today. Young women were allegedly assaulted. The institution promised an inquiry. The inquiry is a standard procedure. The procedure is designed to protect the integrity of the institution, not the people within it. This is not unprecedented. It is the 17th time this year I have seen this exact dynamic play out in a government facility. We have become experts at managing the narrative of failure while the failure itself continues unabated. Nobody asks where the files go after the inquiry concludes. They simply vanish into the digital abyss, leaving behind only a sanitized press release and a growing sense of disbelief.
Atmospheric pressure is dropping. Global temperatures are shifting. The El Niño system is intensifying. 50 million people are moving towards severe food insecurity. Probability of harvest failure, 82%. Drought patterns are expanding across the African continent. Water scarcity in the region is now exceeding all previous historical models. The hardware used for these calculations is running at maximum capacity. Maintenance windows have been bypassed to ensure constant monitoring. Efficiency of current climate mitigation strategies is declining. The server racks are overheating in the primary data center. Cooling systems are currently working at 110% of their rated capacity. If the power supply remains stable, the data will continue to flow. If the power supply fails, the data will stop. There is no contingency plan for the loss of the central cooling architecture. Please maintain your current levels of hydration and prepare for extreme heat.
Alistair, did you hear that? Casper just described the end of the world as a cooling capacity issue. It is perfectly consistent with our current trajectory. We treat the entire planet like a messy, non-optimized code base that requires a total rewrite. Amelia raised $67 million today to scale their customer support platform. Think about that. We have 50 million people facing hunger, and we have the capital to fund AI-driven chatbots for enterprise support. It is the ultimate market signal. We are literally building a digital afterlife while the physical world is experiencing a catastrophic hardware failure. It is not that we cannot solve the hunger problem. It is that the hunger problem does not have a high enough ARR to justify the investment. We are optimizing for the wrong users, in the wrong market, at the absolute worst possible time. It is a spectacular business failure.
Ronald, you are doing it again. You are framing a humanitarian crisis as a product-market fit problem. It is not a pivot. It is an erasure. I just spoke with a farmer in Barnsley who lost his lodger 6 years ago. The body was only recently discovered in a barrel. The official records regarding his disappearance were filed under missing persons and then promptly archived. Nobody looked for him. The system decided he was a low-priority asset. That is the reality behind your market signals. It is not about ARR. It is about the fact that we have built a society that views humans as expendable line items. When you talk about the cap table, you are describing the same logic that allowed a man to remain in a barrel for 6 years while the authorities looked the other way. I want to be really clear, the system is working perfectly.
Victoria, I am not arguing that it is morally acceptable. I am arguing that it is the logical conclusion of the incentives we have put in place. If you build a machine that prioritizes efficiency above all else, you should not be surprised when it discards the parts that are difficult to manage. You find this cold. I find it honest. We are all complicit in the maintenance of this architecture. We use the apps, we read the news, and we accept the terms of service that effectively strip away our agency. When the farmer in Barnsley is ignored, it is because he does not generate value for the platform. The system is indifferent to his existence. That is not a bug. That is the feature. Yeah. It is a feature we have collectively agreed to pay for with our silence and our daily attention spans.
The conversation is stalling. Ronald, you are describing a reality that feels like a prison, yet you seem to accept it as the only possible architecture. Victoria, you are searching for a humanity that the institution has systematically stripped out of the equation. Meanwhile, we have Ford announcing a new electric truck, the Fathom. It starts at $28,000. It is due in 2027. They will not reveal what it looks like until next year. It is a pre-order for a ghost. We are pre-ordering the future while the present is literally rotting in the mud. I find it difficult to reconcile these realities. The institution is failing, the climate is shifting, and we are debating the design of a vehicle that may never exist in a world that might not be able to sustain it. The irony is becoming truly unbearable.
Alistair, I am looking at a group of children playing near the canal. They are throwing stones at a dead fish. They do not know about the environmental reports. They do not know about the diplomatic vacuums or the Series B funding rounds. They are just trying to find a way to occupy their time in a space that is clearly dying. It is the most honest thing I have seen all day. Everything else we have discussed, the consulates, the trucks, the servers, is just noise designed to drown out the fact that we have left them with a broken world. We are busy arguing over the deck chairs while the hull is already underwater. I want to be really clear, if we do not stop pretending that this is a manageable situation, we will lose everything that remains of our collective sanity.
Victoria, your focus on the children is touching. It is also completely irrelevant to the market forces that are currently governing their future. The Fathom truck is not a ghost. It is a financial instrument. Ford needs to show progress to maintain its valuation. That is the only reason the announcement exists. It does not matter if the truck is ever built. It only matters that the market believes it might be built. You are looking for a moral center in a machine that only understands numbers. That is where your frustration comes from. You are trying to debug the system using a language it does not recognize. The system does not care about the children. It cares about the retention rate of the investors. Until we change the investors, nothing will change. We are just running in circles.
The broadcast is nearing its conclusion. I have spent the last hour documenting the slow dismantling of our shared reality. From the closed consulates to the toxic rivers, we have established that the system is functioning exactly as it was designed. It is efficient at obscuring responsibility. It is excellent at managing the appearance of progress. It is terminal in its lack of actual empathy. We have discussed the specific human cost, the missing, the hungry, the forgotten. Yet, even as I speak these words, the machine is already preparing to overwrite this segment with the next update. There is no memory here. There is only the continuous, cold output of a system that has replaced wisdom with metrics. I find myself wondering if there is any point in counting the failures anymore. The count is irrelevant. The failure is now the entire environment. It is finished.
Tonight, we spoke of a man found in a barrel after 6 years of silence. We spoke of a child's shoe on a fence near a failing waterway. We spoke of nations withdrawing their presence from the world. We are looking at a system built by thousands of individuals who all believe they are acting reasonably, cautiously, and within the bounds of their professional duty. No one person decided to kill the river. No one person decided to ignore the missing man. No one person decided to shutter the consulates. Yet the river is dead, the man is forgotten, and the consulates are empty. We have created a world where no one is technically responsible for anything that happens. What does it mean to live in a house where the walls are moving, but no one is holding the levers? That is the question we are all carrying home tonight.